And hi again, my name is Dylan Black. It's Daytime Ottawa. Rogers TV is what you're currently watching. School zone safety is always incredibly important. Let's find out how the Ottawa Safety Council helps. Joining us right now is Rod Heino, and he is the School Zone Safety Program Coordinator, Ottawa Safety Council. Good to have you here.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
My gosh, though, you guys, that's an important job you've got there.
It's really important. You know, our children are our most precious asset. So having those children cross safely and get to school on time and safely is super important. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about the Ottawa Safety Council. How long has it been around for?
We started up sort of the early 60s. Primarily, we were doing motorcycle training and exit exams from the MTO. And we've sort of expanded from there. Been in Ottawa for quite some time, yes.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the cool things that you do to keep us safe.
Sure. Well, I mean, probably number one that is the most visible aspect of our programs is the Adult Crossing Guard program. That we have over 233 crossings in the city now. The City of Ottawa has put another 25 in place just since January of last year. Due to, demand from parents primarily. That's usually how it's driven. It's basically a 311 call if you want a crossing guard. So pretty straightforward. They do an assessment and make sure that it's warranted based on a whole bunch of metrics, and then if they do, then they're happy to fund one. So we've got a whole bunch more folks, more schools, more congestion, more people, sort of more density.
Let's get to the crossing guards in moments, because I want to talk about some of the other things you do. You do road safety services, obviously.
Absolutely.
You've got the Best Fit Car Seat program.
Indeed.
There's lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, so Best Fit Car Seats is basically making sure that the car seat is the right model, not expired, and installed properly in the cars. We do clinics around the city. Those are all easily to find on our website. We do a number of other things too in terms of education and outreach. I personally am responsible for bike safety and pedestrian safety at the Ottawa Safety Council, where we have a number of presenters that go around to the schools, the elementary schools, and do pedestrian safety presentations, essentially. How to cross the street safely. 4 different levels, increasing complexity. We usually sort of end up probably seeing close to 15 to 20,000 kids a year.
Wow.
So we're doing, close to 25, 30 presentations a month. I have 6 presenters that are working for us with full-size traffic lights. It's pretty exciting. So if you're a teacher out there and you want that in your school, by all means, give us a call. Free of charge for the school as well. It's funded by the City of Ottawa.
Education is pretty important when it comes to all these topics.
It's critical. Absolutely. It's sort of our prime mandate. At the end of the day, we believe that if you teach a child properly, early, how to behave in traffic, how to be aware of their surroundings, how to cross safely, that child will then move to a bicycle, make the same kind of decisions that cars do, and eventually be a very good driver. So really what we're trying to do is just train everybody. It's good for society to have folks well aware of what's going on around them and not being distracted.
Okay. I've definitely learned a lot by researching this today and to talk to you. 233 locations across the city for crossing guards, and you're mentioning that that's growing.
Still growing, absolutely.
Okay. I know you have an amazing map as well on your website that shows where these crossing guard spots are.
Absolutely. You can zoom right into the intersection and see when that crossing guard is there. It's going to be pretty neat. You can just check it out here on the thing. You can zoom right into areas, and you'll see each place where those crossing guards are located. Yeah.
Okay. That is really neat. That's very interactive, right?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to hopefully, at some point, we'll maybe start having some bios pop up so you can sort of get to know your crossing guard before they even do it.
Yeah, well, I like that.
It's a really critical component of sort of the morning life, and they really, once they're regularly there, they really become a part of the community. They see the same kids every day. The kids are super happy to see them. It's a really wonderful way to give back to your community, and it's good flexible hours.
Is it true though, throughout the course of the year, over 3.5 million safe crossings occur?
That's sort of our standard.
Crossing guards.
Yeah, exactly. So that's each time a kid crosses the street, we get 3.5 million of those a year, and it's a pretty impressive metric, I think.
So you can only imagine, not to be grim, but what if those crossing guards weren't there?
Well, that's the thing, right? We're certainly seeing an increase in distractions in our cars. There's bigger and bigger screens. We're more and more focused on other things other than driving. So, when you're in that school zone, it's very critical that you slow down. If you have a commute that you can choose a different route, not go through a school zone, that would be ideal. I think, a few things as a driver that are key to being in a school zone is be predictable. No U-turns, no sudden stops, no pulling over, just basically, kids expect you to be predictable. And I think at the end of the day, the driver really needs to understand that kids can be unpredictable. So coming in with your head up and you put that phone down and keep your eyes peeled and hypervigilance, that's going to keep everybody safe.
I didn't know. I mean, crossing guards are actually paid. For some reason, why did I think it was a volunteer position?
You're not the only one. It's a very common misconception that we come across is that, that it's a volunteer position, and it's not. It's better than minimum wage. I think the starting wage is around $16.75, and there are premium shifts that if you work longer than a certain amount of time or certain times of day, being on call, all these these things can add to your base pay. And I think it's important to note too that the crossing guards that we hire are not contractors. We employ them, so all the taxes and everything is all taken care of by us. So you don't have that sort of onerousness on top of it.
Okay, so you are hiring. You're hiring.
We're always
all the time.
hiring. With 233 people, there's always going to be folks that are absent. So we need to be able to fill those crossing guards with a backstop. So we really need to get some people on the bench. At the moment, we're pretty tapped out. We're quite full, and we certainly have everything taken care of. But we can always use more people.
Of course. Now, one of the misconceptions out there, perhaps, is people don't realize that crossing guards are part of the law.
Absolutely, mandated by the Highway Traffic Act. So the same sort of fines that apply to you blowing past a school bus with their stop sign out, which is up to $1,000 and 4 demerit points. That also applies for not obeying a crossing guard. They are mandated by the Highway Traffic Act to be there. Their sign is official. It's an important thing.
What type of person would be good for a job like this?
Somebody who doesn't mind the weather. I think that's a really important consideration living in Canada, because we work rain or shine. Whether or not there's a snow day, even if there's a snow day, as long as the school is open, we're working, whether or not the buses are running or not, because kids can still walk. So somebody who's flexible and comfortable with that. Obviously, you need to have a certain amount of dexterity and physicality, because it does involve sort of holding up a sign and walking across a road. So, the basics are outlined on our website, so ottawasafetycouncil.ca, and there's a apply now option. You can run through it outlines the basics. But semi-retired folks that need some, a little bit of time in the morning and the afternoon to fill in some hours, get them out the door too. A lot of folks just need something to do. So it's a really great way to get out there and meet people, meet young people. Who doesn't want to meet kids, right?
And their wardrobe should have a vast collection of yellow.
Only yellow and orange, yes, and bright yellow.
That's great.
Yeah.
OttawaSafetyCouncil.ca, always looking for donations as well, which is
Indeed,
important.
yeah. Well, we're a not-for-profit, so to help us get our messages out there and do our thing, then
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
OttawaSafetyCouncil.ca. Apply to be a crossing guard. Could be good for you. Thank you very much, Rod, with more daytime coming up.